Denver, the body of a Castle Rock woman, who'd been missing for nearly a week, was found Monday in the trunk of her car, which had been abandoned in South Denver. Police reported. Denver Police Detective Wally McCreary said the body found in the trunk of the 1970 Oldsmobile was that of Darcie Kay Anderson, 24. Her body was found leaning against a globe that she'd apparently bought as a Christmas present for her 6-year-old son, he said. McCreary added that her body was fully clothed and there were signs of trauma to the upper body. There were no obvious signs that she'd been sexually assaulted. The Denver coroner's office scheduled an autopsy for today to determine the cause of death. McCreary said there were no signs of struggle inside the car, but splotches of what investigators believe was blood were found on the car's trunk lid and rear bumper. Authorities said they didn't have a motive or a suspect in the murder. What kind of motive can there be for taking a woman from the driveway of her home and killing her and leaving her some distance away, said Denver Homicide Lieutenant Tom Haney. I wish we had more, but we don't. Anderson, a divorced mother, disappeared after tucking her son, Tony, into bed the night of December 16th. When co-workers became concerned about her absence from work the next morning, they called police. Officers found the garage door open and Anderson's purse left in the house. The only thing missing from Anderson's home was her car, authorities said. Police have speculated that Anderson was warming up her car before driving to her job at a bakery when she disappeared. Anderson's father, Max Heacock, of Castle Rock, said his daughter held 2 jobs. 6 days a week before dawn, she would put her son in a sleeping bag and carry him to a bakery where she worked overnight. Later, she would drop him off at a daycare center while she went to her second job as a bookkeeper at Real Properties in Denver. She also worked at a dry cleaning shop on weekends. Darryl Kreidelbaugh, a delivery man for the General Welding Repair Service, noticed Anderson's car parked in a muddy alley about 8 a.m. Monday and recognized it from news reports. He then called police. Few family members wanted to talk about the slaying Monday, although one of them said a Catholic priest and a social worker had been called to the home of Anderson's father to try to explain the death to her son.
Castle Rock, the father of a Castle Rock woman found dead after being missing for a week, said Tuesday that he has told his 6-year-old grandson, a bad person killed his mother. Max Heacock of Castle Rock said he had also told his grandson, Tony Anderson, that they are trying to catch the bad person. Flanked by his silent, wide-eyed grandson, Heacock spoke to reporters for the first time since the body of Darcie Kay Anderson, 24, was found Monday morning in the trunk of her car, which had been abandoned in South Denver. He said the boy would go live with his father, Mike Anderson of Aurora. Anderson and his daughter were divorced 3 years ago, Heacock said. Heacock, replying steadily to reporters' questions, said he was glad his daughter's body had been found. The not knowing was the worst thing of the experience. He said family and friends were still shocked by the abduction and murder. Why would somebody, and who would it be, that would do this to her when she never hurt anybody? Who is that sick? Heacock thanked the people of Castle Rock for supporting his family throughout the ordeal. I feel really good to be in a community that stands behind you. In a city, I don't think you'd get 500 people who would come out and help. Anderson's body was found Monday after an employee for a Denver business noticed her 1970 Oldsmobile parked in a muddy alley and called police. Her body was found in the trunk, leaning against a world globe that she'd apparently bought as a Christmas present for her son, said Denver Police Detective Wally McCreary. He added that her body was fully clothed and there were signs of trauma to the upper body, but no obvious signs that she'd been sexually assaulted. Authorities said they didn't have a motive or a suspect in the murder.
Darcy Anderson liked sewing. She enjoyed making things with her hands. Her dad, Max Heacock, still has some of her embroidery that he treasures. Darcy also loved the outdoors, especially horseback riding. She married Michael Anderson and they lived in Castle Rock. They had a son, Tony, with whom Darcy was very involved. The couple was divorced in 1983. Darcy worked at a bakery, so she rose early each morning to go to work. She had dated a man from Wyoming, but had broken up with him because he was jealous and exhibited a bad temper. More recently, Darcy dated a state trooper assigned to the governor's mansion. She told her dad he also had a temper, but she could handle it. Darcy Anderson, 24, was abducted from her home in mid-December 1986. Her 6-year-old son was found unharmed at home by a family member who went to investigate when Darcy failed to show up for work. Darcy's body was found December 22, stuffed in the trunk of her own car, which was discovered parked in a muddy alley in the 1900 block of South Bannock Street in Denver. She had been strangled. Bruises on her body indicated she put up a fight. No evidence could be gleaned from the automobile. It had been wiped clean.
Also, not written on this timeline, Darcy gave birth to a son in 1980. She would have been with her ex at the time. According to newspapers, at the time of her death the son was 6 years old, and so when they divorced the boy would have been around 3 years old. In a majority of this type of case, the ex would be a person of interest. Motive could be to get out of paying large child support fees.